Now, before we talk about the newly released trailer for Dune, one of many trailers we're going to be talking about today, according to E! News, Scarlett Johansson, the star of Black Widow, in case you forgot exactly who Scarlett Johansson was, has sued the Walt Disney Company alleging breach of contract when the company released Black Widow simultaneously in theaters and on Disney+. The legal team for Scarlett Johansson is arguing that Disney used the film and Johansson to promote their streaming service and raise the company's stock. Also, that her agreement with the company promised a full theatrical release for her solo film as Black Widow, and her salary was partly based on box office performance. Now, it's really strange because I kind of see, two sides to all this. On one end, you have the smallest violin being played for Scarlett Johansson, because obviously she's already made a lot of money with the release of Black Widow. But on the other end, too, there could possibly be a legal point here to exactly what it is that they're arguing. Because, again, no matter how much you've already made, what you're owed, you're owed, what you should get. So, again, what do you think about the drama that's been unfolding between Scarlett Johansson and Disney? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm a little surprised. This is not something I really saw coming.
I'm a mixture of surprise, but at the same time, I could see this happening, mainly because Scarlett Johansson recently has been coming out about basically how she felt about the portrayal of Black Widow in the MCU, and you can kind of feel and see that she does have a bit of distaste with playing the character, or at least certain creative decisions people have made over the years with the character. So I kind of felt that she had she and Disney and maybe even Marvel Studios didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and I think this coming forward, honestly, it's a huge shock that she's suing them over Black Widow and the multi-release on movies in theaters and on Disney Plus. But at the same time, is a part of me is just like, I want to see how this turns out. We already have Disney firing back, calling Scarlett Johansson's sue legal action basically kind of distasteful and amongst other things. And so it's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. I do like Scarlett Johansson as an actress. She's really solid. But again, this is legal wise. This is beyond just acting and trying to tell a good lie. And so, I mean, it's kind of like it is what it is, but at the same time, you also have to consider Disney and what they were also kind of forced into when the pandemic happened. And so, and the changes they've had to make, were they ideal maybe for them? Probably. We don't know. We're not Disney. But at the same time, they're a company that's trying to make money. Scarlett Johansson also trying to make money, and obviously Black Widow, you can see how it performed. It did not perform really that great in the box office, but I don't necessarily think it's just because of the movie being released on Disney Plus. I think that is somewhat of a factor, but I don't think it's a huge factor. I mean, again, this is just me theorizing, thinking about it. I'm not entirely too sure. We're all not entirely too sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what actually transpires. But nonetheless, it's going to be an interesting ride. To say the least.
Here's the thing, too, because you have Scarlett Johansson and their team arguing one way. And then a Disney spokesperson, again, according to the article that I just quoted before from E! News, a Disney spokesperson responded to the lawsuit saying, "The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic." So, of course, they're throwing the COVID card at her because, again, that's going to hit. Continuing that, Disney has, quote, "Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date." And if I'm not mistaken, according to that article, too, Black Widow has earned over $150 million at the domestic box office in the first 3 weeks of its release. So, this is kind of turning into a game of he said, she said, because Disney kind of said just now, everything she said is just not true. So, it's he said, she said. Again, who's actually right? Again, I have no idea. I didn't write the contract. I've never read the contract. But again, it's just so strange. Where do you think this is going to go? Do you think Scarlett Johansson is going to come out on top? Do you think Disney is going to end up having the better case? And that's the strangest thing, too. Whose case is actually even valid? Because, again, they're both saying, each other's cases are bullshit. So, it's just really strange. Again, where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, exactly. It's such... it's like at the same time, it's just like, God dang it, another one. Why are we doing it during this time right now? And it's just, I don't know. This is something about, and I'm not saying, or at least I'm not trying to say or elicit that Scarlett Johansson and Disney are egotistical, but it's this weird hierarchy and just, I guess, not necessarily power, but just wanting just a bit of money, And again, we don't know the contract, like you said. So, and I mean, if I was Disney, I'm just saying, or like, just in general, yeah, you're going to want to put at least something about releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus in the contract in general, I would assume. It's just more reach. Not everybody wants to go to the theater. As you can see, Disney Plus is really getting up there in subscriber counts and everything. So it makes sense. I mean, $30 a fee is kind of ridiculous, but in my opinion, but still,
exactly. I saw that. I'm
it's
like,
working.
I'm not doing that.
it is working to a certain degree. So it's really about, let's see what really happens after this and how all the parties feel. And not only that, what's Johansson's career going to look like going forward? The fact that she's suing her previous employer, regarding this, is kind of, I don't know, kind of doesn't look too good, especially for other companies who probably initially wanted to work with her and now are probably backtracking, like, I don't know, if she can sue them, she might sue us.
And it all depends, and again, that depends on whether or not she's telling the truth. Again, I have no idea if she's telling the truth.
Exactly.
I have no idea if Disney's telling the truth. I'm going to be honest, if we're talking about people in the entertainment industry, I'm never going to assume that either one's telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like, that's just that's just the nature of the beast. But again, I feel like in terms of like how other companies are going to react, if she can prove that she's telling the truth, then maybe it'll be a different story. Maybe they'll say like, oh, I would want to work with her. But at the same time, it could also be like, you know what? I don't want to deal with the drama with her either. Which if she's telling the truth, sucks. Because if she's telling the truth, she's only going after what she's owed, no matter how much she's made already. That doesn't matter. What you're owed is what you're owed. So it's a sticky situation to say the least. And again, that's under the assumption that she's definitely telling the truth. Is it possible that Disney's telling the truth? Yeah, it is possible. Again, is that something I'm inclined to believe? No.
Yeah.
No. Again, like I said, when it comes to everybody in entertainment, I'm skeptical of whoever. Like, I'm skeptical by nature. And I think you and I have had certain encounters with certain people that have kind of formed that belief. But again, that's another discussion that we don't need to necessarily go into with this. But again, it's all very strange. It's kind of, for me personally, it definitely kind of came out of nowhere. And again, for all you guys that are listening, what do you guys think of Scarlett Johansson taking on Disney? Is she justified? Is she reaching too much? Do you trust Disney and the way that they do things? Do you believe her? You have to have some kind of thoughts if you've heard about this story, and you know what to do with those thoughts. You need to comment on those thoughts wherever it is that you can, whether it's on our social media pages and YouTube, on the YouTube comment page, wherever it is that you can. Please, for the love of God, do not be shy.